Alright, so as the Acolyte episodes have been coming out since the terrible episode 3, I've been doing raw, uncut reviews. So, this is the raw, uncut review of episode 5. So, to start, I will say episode 5 by far was the best episode so far of Acolyte. I mean, it's still the Acolyte we're talking about, so let's not get too horny, but, at least it felt Star Wars-y, there was lightsaber battles, there was Jedi and Sith, there was, I think there was some Force use going on. It wasn't just dumb nonsense like these last episodes have been. I will say this, though, I heard that Leslie Headland, or whatever the heck her name is, says, oh, this is gonna have lightsaber battles, that Revel, whatever the word is I'm looking for, that match, episode 1, like Obi-Wan and all that, Obi-Wan versus Maul and stuff. No, they were not at that level at all. They were very basic. I mean, if you've seen any of the Disney Star Wars movies, there you go. That's the lightsaber choreography. It's basically the same. It was a little more intense, I'll give it that, a little. Nothing crazy, but it wasn't like, oh my god, look at this, like with Ray Park and whatever the heck Obi-Wan's name is. What the heck is his name? I keep thinking Hayden Christensen. That's Anakin, dang it. Whatever. Ewan and McGregor. Anyways. So, I don't really go into the overviews like some channels do. They talk about what happened in the episode and they include clips. I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to do a raw review. So, with that, let's talk about the good and let's talk about the bad. We'll start with the good first because A, it's probably less, and B, why not? It's good stuff to talk about. So one thing that I liked was, this Sith guy was kind of cool with his helmet on, at least. He was pretty aggressive. He seemed good at what he did. He seemed like a true threat to them. I mean, he ends up taking his helmet off and you find out it's just the drug dealer that May was working with, and then it kind of was like, oh, it kind of ruined it, like when Kylo took his mask off, and then you see just like this nerd with big bushy hair, and you're like, ugh, Kylo was way cooler with the helmet on. Put that back on, boy. You're stupid. But that's what it was like when this guy, whatever his name is, I don't even know what his name is, but took his helmet off. Second thing I would say it was kind of cool was his lightsaber, how it had that secret like dagger one in the bottom that he took out in the end. That was pretty cool, because I always thought if Star Wars was real and like Force sensitivity was real and I had sensitivity and I was becoming a Jedi or something and I made my own lightsaber, that'd be something cool to have, because it's like a last resort, if you will, Uh-oh, like him, he was in a pickle and then boop, pulled that out, done, gotcha. So that was kind of cool. I also liked, a lot of people didn't like this, but I liked how he kind of was like, I don't want to say flying using the Force, but he kind of was like able to use the Force to help him levitate and float. Not really levitate, but like he used it to, I don't know, soar in the flow. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but fly a little bit. Now, a lot of fans have been talking crap about that because they're like, that's not what the Force is used for. But I always thought of the Force like this. The Force is basically anything that you can manipulate it to be, more or less. Like, what I mean by that is, you can make it so stuff flies to you. Or you can use it to close a door, or you can use it to whatever you need it to do. And, we see in the other movie, Force Awakens, how Kylo was able to use it to stop a blaster beam midair, and he can freeze people. So, whatever you want it to do, you can make it do with enough training and mastery of the Force and everything. So I always thought, why can't Jedi or Sith fly? Use the Force to make them fly. Make it so the Force is, I don't know, lifting them or whatever. And this one doesn't really fly, but he sort of does, and it was kind of cool. Like, hey, that's my idea. Not as grandiose as I always envisioned. Like, I always envisioned actual flying. But still not bad. What else was cool about the episode? Might be about it. Not too much cool stuff going on. I mean, like I said, it's Acolyte, so let's talk about the bad, I guess. Or just the, not really bad or anything, just, here's the other details. So, I thought it was dumb how they had Master Soul basically show up out of nowhere to save Osha as she was running. So she's running away from the Sith guy, and he throws his lightsaber in like a culling blade, you know, like Vader does, a culling blade type manner. And it's getting pretty close to her, it's about to hit her, and then Master Soul comes out of nowhere with his lightsaber and blocks it, so it doesn't get her. I thought that was stupid. It's basically an Ex Machina type moment, and I hate Ex Machina moments because they're just dumb. They barely ever happen in real life, and yet movies have them all the time. And it's just so stupid. Like, where was he? Where did he go? You know, the Sith guy force blasted everybody away. Everyone else was back in 2 seconds, and Saul was like, what? I'm gonna run away? Oh, I'm scared. I don't know what this guy is. I'm gonna run away. Even though I'm the Jedi Master, I'm scared. Is that what was going on? And then he saw that Osha was in trouble, and he's like, I should probably help her, and just happened to get there in time. Like, what's the logic? It's just stupid. Speaking of the culling blade, though, that was another part I thought was kind of cool, because the culling blade, it's just a cool move, because don't you have to, like, hold your lightsaber to keep it on? And so when they do that, they're using the Force to keep the blade out. So it's always kind of cool, and typically, I mean, how many people have done it? I know it's a thing Vader does, but who else? So seeing someone else do it was kind of cool. But anyways, another thing though, to kind of nitpick, but I thought it was ironic how, they cut down the trees though with that lightsaber, and all the trees are burning and stuff because a lightsaber went through them, which makes sense. A lightsaber blade is supposed to be 20,000 degrees, but somehow when Sabine gets stabbed with one, she can survive it. Or when Reva does twice, she can survive it. A tree is going to be burning and cut down, but a person's totally fine? Okay. So dumb. They're not even consistent with their stupidity. Anyways, so that was one thing. Two things, I guess, right there that are kind of dumb. Another thing, speaking of Master Soul, that I thought was kind of dumb, was there were so many times where it was Master Soul and the Sith guy. Okay, that's the fight that we care about. That's the content we care about. It'd be Master Soul and Sith guy. Sith guy would say something, Master Soul would respond. They'd look like they're ready to fight, and then it would change scene and go to, like, May. And it was just like, what are you doing? I don't care about what May's up to. Show me what Soul and the Sith guy are doing. So I thought that was a little bit dumb and annoying. Nobody cares about what May's up to. We want to see some cool lightsaber battles and see the Sith guy and stuff. And then, speaking of Master Soul, it was kind of goofy how basically his Padawan apprentice, you know, that pale white girl with like the Dathomir horn things that Maul has, was pretty good at fighting, almost like better than him even. I mean, she was holding her own just fine against the Sith guy. And like I said, she basically had him, and he only won because he had that secret compartment thing in his lightsaber and was able to use it to kill her. Otherwise, she almost beat him, and it was just like, aren't you supposed to be a Padawan? So you should kind of suck, right? Like, yeah, you're decent because you're being trained, but you should kind of suck. Why are you doing better than Saul? That makes no sense. But it must be because Disney and girl power. Oh my god, of course she's gonna be so OP. Master Soul is an old white male. He is not gonna be on top of his game, but she's a young white girl, and she will be on top of her game. Okay. Anyways, what else was pretty dumb? There's so many things that keep popping into my head, and then I forget to talk about them because it's too many going on at the same time. Another thing, though, that I didn't like was when, again, we don't get to see anything about the Wookiee Jedi. You know, he's kind of like almost highly billed, if you will. You know, they put him in the poster, and it's like he was one of the main four. It was Saul, the Wookiee guy, that white nerd that we see with his weird beard and stuff later, and a woman. And you never see anything of him. I thought in this episode there might be like a flashback or something. Nope. You see a couple scenes of him just like hanging out or doing some weird farming or something, and now he's dead. We don't even get to see anything of this Wookiee Jedi. You see him using force power or the lightsaber or anything. Like, what a waste of a good opportunity. And then, what else? You have, I mean, I did think that was back to the Sith guy when we find out that he's May's drug dealer. Everybody already had guessed that it was probably the case. You know, Disney, it's Disney. They're not going to be good at coming up with surprise twists. So everybody already knew that that's who that was. And sure enough, it was like, oh, yeah, we already figured that much. I mean, geez, that was the only person that May was, like, hanging out with anyways all the time. So it's like, I wonder why he's so significant to her. Sure enough. Surprise, surprise, just kidding. Yeah, what else was dumb, though? It was dumb also how later on in the show, what the heck's her name now? Osha. She uses her droid and puts the light on and puts it on the Sith guy's back because those moth bat things are attracted to light. So they did that. She did that, I mean, as a way to basically draw them to him, so that way then they could kill him, or at least take him away take the Sith guy away from them, being Osha and Master Saul. And it worked. But the thing I think is pretty stupid is, Sith guy was over here and was able to blast off Osha no problem, and then blast off all these Jedi who have Force sensitivity themselves, could probably put a little resistance up against a Force push to not just go blasting back like that. But when it comes to these moth things, oh, he can't do anything. Oh, they got me. And it was just like, he could have just forced them. Done. What did you think you were going to try to do to me, mother effer? They didn't kill him, but still, they were able to pick him up, pull him away, and it was just like, okay, what happened to your Force powers? And then speaking of Force power, so later, May and Osha meet up, and then, May's trying to reconcile with Osha, but Osha's like, I know you're not really up to any good, so leave me alone. So she ends up getting knocked out, and then May's like, I got an idea, and she doesn't say that, but that's, I got an idea, and she steals Osha's clothes so then she can look like her, and then goes to meet up with Master Saul, and then he sees her, and, they run off together, and blah, 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 and for me, I just thought, this doesn't make any sense. Being Force sensitive, shouldn't he be able to detect that something's up, something's different? That's not May? I mean, Anakin and Obi-Wan were able to detect that there was those bug things on Padme when she was in the other room and they were secretly deployed onto her. And you're telling me Master Saul can't detect that somebody right in front of him isn't who they're claiming to be? That was pretty dumb. Oh, and that's the other thing I almost forgot to say. She was able to also go with the disguise because how she had the longer dread thing, so she just flips her head down, takes the lightsaber, and one swoop, boop, cuts them all off perfectly. Oh, now I got the same hair. Man, those are some convenient haircuts in the world of Acolyte. How you just put your hair down, one swipe, and you got a whole new haircut. Looks exactly identical to someone else. Wow, it's very convenient. But yeah, I just thought that was really dumb. And she was kind of being suspicious. She was saying things that should have made Saul been like, what? She's like, oh, we gotta get to the ship now. She's not, Osha is a little bit caring and stuff. She's different than May, even though it's the same actress. And I always think, that's kind of good how she does this. She does feel like two different people, even though it's the same person. But anyways, Osha's a little bit more caring. May is May. She don't care. She's just trying to complete, her mission or whatever. So Master Soul's knocked out on the ground from the Sith guy, and then he's just coming to, and she's, oh, we gotta get going. Let's go. We gotta get back to the ship now. Come on. And, even as me knowing that is May in disguise as Osha, I'm thinking, geez, this is suspicious as F. And yet, Master Saul, he don't see it. He thinks everything's fine. Oh, yeah. This is how Osha acts. Yep. Nothing weird here. It was just so stupid. It was clearly obvious. And the Force should have been tingling. His spidey senses should have been going off. Ugh, you ain't Osha. Something's weird. But nope. Ugh, what else sucked? I thought there was one other dumb thing in there. I don't know. I do know this much too. The last episode I said was kind of like a filler. It felt like it was, they almost wanted to make it 2 parts or something, so they just put a whole bunch of nonsense in the episode 4 then it could lead up to episode 5. And they could have just cut it down from half an hour to 5-10 minutes, and it would have been fine. And that's the other thing too. It was shorter than most normal episodes. It was half an hour. It was 29-30 minutes, episode 4. Well, episode 5 was exactly the same. It was another short one, a half hour or so. So if you cut down the 5 minutes from the last one, or cut it down to 5 or 10 minutes, from episode 4, and added it to episode 5, you would have had a 35-40 minute episode, which would have been a normal length episode. They really didn't need to split these 2 up and make them 2 separate episodes. That was pretty dumb. Let's put this into context. Ahsoka episode 1 is 54 minutes long. So they could have just combined episode 4 and 5 as is and made it, an hour long. It would have been 6 minutes longer than Ahsoka. Whatever. It would have been boring, really long, boring, drawn out episode, because episode 4 was kind of long and boring to begin with. But I'm just saying, like, it's not like splitting it up added any kind of value. It was just stupid. So, at the end of the day, so far, it almost feels like, anyways, that Acolyte was either A, supposed to be a movie, but then they thought, hey, let's try to make it a TV series instead. Let's drag this thing out. Or B, it almost feels like Acolyte was shorter, like it was 4 episodes. And then, I don't know, someone along the way was like, maybe we should try to make this 8 episodes. So they came up with a whole bunch of nonsense. That one episode that they split into episode 4 and 5. Oh, there's 2. Then they threw in episode 3. Let's just make this up, because it comes out of left field. It has I get it. It has something to do with Acolyte, because it's May and Osha's parents, well, moms. But it's just random how it's added in. Like, it feels like it comes out of left field. You have episode 1 and 2, which are one way, and then what the fuck is this? And then it goes back to where it was. So again, it's almost like they added that in after. Okay, that gives us another episode, so we gained 2 episodes. So what? We got 2 more episodes that are just random, weird fillers towards the end. I mean, there's 3 episodes left, so I guess 2 of them are just nonsense. So then they could stretch it to 8 episodes. It's almost there. But yeah, I guess that's about it. I can't remember anything else that I might have liked or disliked. I know there was not disliked, but just thought was dumb. I think there is more that I thought was dumb, but I'm drawing a blank now. Yeah, I still don't really remember. So, yeah, I guess that's all I got. So until episode 6 review, thanks for checking this one out with me, and I said see ya.